Good
Good
morning,
morning.
everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to Cacao Conversations with Julieta and Graciela. Do
I
you have
am,
a mug of cacao this morning, or is it
I
just
was going
me?
to say, no, I am sans cacao right now. Just have my little water and my little octopus glass here. But
Ooh, I
yeah,
like that.
yes, just changing things up for a second. Um, I have some big manifesting work to do today, so I'm saving my cacao for when I'm not distracted with chit chat. So as soon
Yes,
as
yes,
soon as we're
that's
done, I'm gonna head into my practice.
completely acceptable. I can't even say it right now. Acceptable. There we go.
More cacao, more cacao.
Yes, this is my first, so I'm not fully energized yet this morning, but
First, do you have
we're
more
working
than
on it.
one? Do you have more than one a day?
No. This is my
Oh,
first, so I haven't had any yet. So
got you, got you. Okay,
I'm
I
not
was.
fully tuned in.
I don't
It
think I
happens
could do.
midway through the show.
I don't think I could do more than one. Well, I know everyone wants to know the North Carolina weather update, and I'm dying to tell you there are so many leaves everywhere. Oh my God. You know, we swept off the deck, I promise you, like 24 hours ago, and it is absolutely covered all over again, like if we never touched it. It is hysterical. There's so many lessons around all of this all the time. But yeah, and this morning I had to drive my son to a 6 a.m. basketball practice. He's trying to get on
What?
the team. Oh yes. So he's I've been sending him, see, this is what happens when you try and be an inspirational parent. I've been sending him all of these like Kobe Bryant videos and Michael Jordan videos about, don't give up. I lost 900 shots and to make the one, and, all this motivational shit. Well, I have motivated him to the point that now it's interfering with my life because he's like, Mom, I got to show the coach that I'm going to get there earlier than everyone else. I'm going to stay later than everyone else. And, like all the things, right, that I've been trying to teach him. And I'm like, son of a bitch, I should have done this when he was driving, like he hasn't started driving yet. So I have to take him. And let me tell you, me driving in these mountainous roads at 5:45 in the morning where it's pitch black and foggy, honestly, you really can't see the road. It's like driving straight into space. You just, I kept on thinking this morning, believe and the road will appear. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. Like you can't even turn
Well,
on your high beams because the fog makes everything scarier. So I'm like, low beams, low beams.
like you live there now, so you're going to have to get used to
Oh
it
yeah.
at some point. Like you can't say I'm never driving in the dark ever, because one day you're going to really need it, and you're going to be glad that you learned how to do it.
I mean, learning and desensitizing, I think, are two different things. I'm definitely in the desensitizing stage because I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep on going, and if if the car doesn't go, then the car doesn't go. Like I don't, I just gotta keep on going. So yeah, it has been very interesting to say the least.
Well, I'm happy for both of you stepping outside of your comfort zone.
Yes, well, yes. You would think like by 50, like, oh, I've made it. I can relax. I was having this conversation with someone yesterday. I'm like, man, have you ever gotten to a point in your life where you've said, oh, good, I'm here. And then just like everything relaxes? No, you reach a milestone and you're like, this is
There is
awesome.
always more.
Right. And then there's always more.
So
So yeah,
I want to share my more from Sunday.
tell me.
So, for those that don't know, I have a sweat lodge in my backyard, and our sweat lodge ceremonies are led by a chief. And since the sweat lodge came to my home, chief has been saying, I would like you to learn how to lead sweat lodge, because I can't always be here, and other people need to learn to lead the sweat as well. And so the time before, he's like, we're going to go before the ceremony. You and I are going to go in the sweat lodge and pray about it. And so we said our little prayers, and we had sweat lodge that day. And when sweat lodge was complete, he said, next sweat lodge, you're going to pour water with me. And I was like, and all stressed out. And what does that mean? And what does he want me to do? And so anyway, so Sunday came, and I did the copal clear of everybody before they came into the sweat, and I sat next to Chief. And there are 4 doors in a sweat lodge, and so the second door is the door where we say prayers for others. And so that was the one that he had me pouring. So, and
Beautiful.
like his explanation was like me pouring the water on the stones is the medicine. And so me pouring the water on the stones during the prayers was like me facilitating the sending of their prayers to God, Creator, the Great Spirit in the sky. And when he asked me to do it too, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta like sit up really close to the rocks. And I like have this struggle with heat. I've gotten myself where I can make it through all 4 doors. And last ceremony, we actually had a 5th door to celebrate a birthday. I made it through all 5 doors. So I was like, woo, I'm there. But then asking me to sit up close to the stones to pour the water, I'm like, am I going to be able to do this? I swear, like, Source put some like protective bubble over you, because I'm sitting there pouring the water, feeling the least amount of heat ever. Like when he was pouring, I was like, it was hot, but I was sitting further away. And then I'm sitting right there pouring the water, and it's like, no big deal. I got this. But it was really like powerful, special. Yeah. So
That's amazing. That's
there I
amazing.
am, taking the next step to being a sweat lodge ceremony leader.
I think it's absolutely amazing. And I'm so excited that like you can open it to anybody. It doesn't have to be anyone of a particular culture or a particular religious practice or anything like that. It's literally open to anyone that wants to participate, right?
Yeah. And this is one of the things that, yes, there are traditions that are meant to be kept, but at the end of the day, like, we are all humans, and this is really about bringing all of us together. And so when we like shut somebody out and say, no, you're not part of us, that does not serve the world and healing and becoming united. So that's something that I suspect that Chief does take some slack from some people about not holding things to the exact way that they're supposed to be. He's also, more lenient about people, for people who've never sweat before, to go in and say you're going to have to sit in there, for 2 hours and not leave. Like, not everybody's ready to do that. And so you do have the opportunity to sit out a door or 2 if you need to, and you work your way up to being able to sit through the whole thing. So.
Yeah. I think honestly, as human beings, we're all kind of making it up. And I don't know that, the luck of the draw of where I was born, or the culture I was born into, or the family I was born into, should mean that I don't get to benefit from the same medicine as someone outside of my current culture, right? And to me, it's like what I would, let me start that again in a slightly less confusing way. I think that the commodification of spiritual practices is probably the evil in all of this, like that's why we have to, people feel like they have to keep their practices private because it is sacred just to them. Because if you let it out, it's like putting out your nice china. Like, don't put it out when the kids are out because they're going to break it, So like, these are our nice things and we're going to protect them, because if not, it's going to end up on Target, in Target in the little dollar aisle, right? Which is not what we want. So I hear it and I get it. And also I feel very comfortable personally drawing from anything that inspires me. After all, the earth is just as much mine as everyone else's. And I don't know, I feel really lucky that people from other cultures feel open and, good in sharing all of that. And why wouldn't you, anything that I believe that I know works for me, of course I want to share it. Why would I want to keep that for me? So anyway, I think that's super cool.
And it also kind of feeds into the topic of how do you honor your body's wisdom. And going into a sweat lodge, like, you really do have to tune in and listen. And because if you don't, people have died in sweat lodges. And so it is serious. But Chief was sharing some of the stories of healings that he has experienced with people that, it's like, maybe not everybody would have let that person in because I don't know if they can handle it. And, there was a man who had a stroke who really wanted to do this. And so they sat him next to the door so that if he needed to get out quickly, he could. And, Chief was like explaining, like, I was like nervous for him. And it was really like, he's like, I was really like overprotective of him. And he didn't need me to do that for him. And he said the man kept coming back, and, he had more and more recovery from his paralysis. And it was a beautiful thing to see. So when we do honor our body and listen to what our body's telling us, beautiful things can happen.
Totally. So, today's question being, how do you honor your body's wisdom? And I'd love to hear what everybody else does. I know that this has been a huge struggle for me, just really my whole life, because it never occurred to me that my body had wisdom. Let's just start right there at the basics. Like, I very much was shown that the body is like a car. Like, you can separate the different pieces. They don't necessarily all go together, And then, of course, as I got older, it's like, well, no, because this is connected to this and that's connected to that. And, I always tell the story how I came to you for the first time because my knees hurt and you asked me if I had a C-section scar. And that was like mind blowing at the time. Like, oh my God, those things can be related. That's crazy. And here you are just having this knowledge, and there's a whole school of people learning the same thing. And it's just like, what? Everybody does this with me. So, I think number one, recognizing the body's wisdom. And then really what for the last, I don't even know now, 20 years or so, fighting against the desire to do more, be more, go higher, go faster, all of the, being all the superlatives. And it absolutely tears down, the mind and the body, So nowadays, 2024, I have a healthy respect for the mind, body, soul connection. And that thing where they say, if it's not a resounding yes, don't do it. Woo! That is my new Bible.
Yeah, this is something I say so much to people, in my daily practice, because we all have been programmed to got to do more, got to do more, got to do more. And I don't want to let anybody down. And I'm telling you, like, showing up for something that you don't really want to be at, you're not doing good to anybody. It's not good for you, and it's not good for the people that are there. And, I said, like, more and more of us need to say, thank you for the invitation. And no, I can't make that. And the more of us that do that, then that also gives other people the permission to honor their body, the need for rest, the need to do something else. This weekend, my friends, Brandon and Matthew, who are the ones that connected me to have this sweat lodge in my backyard, they were having celebrations Friday night to Sunday night. Like, they even had a potluck. They came for the sweat, and then they had a potluck at their place after. And, they were like, oh, there's all these things. We'd love to have you. And I said to them, I said, look, I do not have the energy or the time to make all of your things, no matter how much I love you. I can't do that to myself. So tell me what is the most important thing that you would like me to attend, and I will attend that. And then if I have the energy and decide to attend the other things, I will, but I'm only guaranteeing you I'm going to show up for the one. And they were completely okay with that, you know. Old me would have been like, okay, I got to show up for them. I got to come to every single one of these things and show them that they're important to me, and da, da, da. But that would not be honoring me. And
right. And I think
to be older and wiser and tuned into what is going to work out for me.
And I think above all, like, I respect so much more my friends that have healthy boundaries, the friends that do protect their peace, you know. And I see you guys watching. We can see how many folks are watching. I would love to see you in the comments, like jump in there and chat with us. But you know, I have one friend that she puts on her out of office, and every voicemail, every email is like, sorry, not answering, sorry, not answering. And it reminds me that I could do the same, right? That I don't have to take a call at 10 o'clock at night. I don't have to, you know, do things I don't want to do, you know, that's just the truth of it. And I know I talk about my friend Chloe all the time, but I just want to tell it one more time, is this is the woman that I have met hands down by far with the most self-respect for her body and her wellness. You know, this is somebody that if she's tired, she simply lays down. If she has a headache, she simply relaxes. And when she first spoke those words to me, I didn't even know that that was an option. Like, it never occurred to me that if you have a headache, you should stop moving. Quite the opposite. I was like, great, headache, no problem. Give me 2 Tylenol and let's keep going. You know, like no one ever said to me, stop, take a day off. You know, everyone, you know, shit talks this new youth, you know, and how they want little treats and how they want days off. And I'm like, man, the best phrase ever invented is taking a mental health day. Like, I love it. I wish that our generation before, or the generation before me, had invented it, because so many times you just need a mental health day. And I really thought that all the work that I did was so important. If I wasn't there, it would never get done. And when only I could do it the perfect way, and da 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 da. And guess what? Every job I have ever left, every relationship I've ever left, everything that I've ever walked away from is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. They may be borrowing some of my tools. They may be, you know, throwing away everything that I did. I don't know. But I will tell you that both them and I are perfectly fine. And that, for me, again, was a huge, huge lesson. And don't think I was 20 when I learned that. Like, I was old already. Totally. Good morning.
Hi, Joy. Thanks for tuning in.
Joy is the most aptly named human on the planet. There is no one more joyful than Joy, always showing up joyfully.
Yeah. So I don't know, well, how talking about body's wisdom, I don't know if you can see what my face is doing over here. I've been doing a lot of, you know, like the Sweat Lodge is very much a detoxification, and there's been some other things. And yeah, my body is showing me I got stuff to get rid of here. And so, you know, that is work as well. And so I also recognize, like, I need to be not working so hard right now and letting my body do its healing processes. I'm also making sure that I'm drinking plenty of water, because the body needs that to help flush things out. And if it's coming out here, it's coming out everywhere else. And so, again, yeah, the body is designed to heal itself, and we just get in its way all the time by ignoring it, by pushing through, you know, by taking medications that, and like, this is the biggest joke of all. Like, people take a Tylenol and think that the Tylenol is healing their headache, when the fact is that Tylenol is just masking it's hiding the pain from you so that you don't feel the pain anymore. But the problem that created that headache is still there. And so, laying down, getting some rest. People ask me, what do you do when you get a headache? I'm like, well, first of all, I don't get headaches very often. But usually if I got a headache, that's my body telling me, hey, you're dehydrated. I drink some water. I'm like, sometimes I wonder, like, is it the Tylenol that actually makes the headache go away, or is it the glass of water that you drink to get the Tylenol down that makes the headache go away?
It's just so insane, it's so insane. All the years of my life that I spent running around feeling like crap, and because I felt like it had to be done, so I'm trying to think. Well, definitely drinking water. That's an excellent way of honoring your body's wisdom. Oh, hey, Raylan. Hi, darling. Oh my gosh. I'm thinking of you up here with all these leaves changing. I think I'm going to do a little live later, give you guys a tour of the trees outside so you can see it. But all right, so let's make a list. Honoring your body's wisdom. If you feel it, then recognize it, speak it out loud, right? Do something about it. Drinking water is always good. Getting some sleep is always good. Rest fixes a lot of crankiness, a lot of problems. What else? Oh my gosh,
drinking air.
Fresh air.
Getting outside in nature, getting your feet in the dirt. That's one of the things I really love in the Sweat Lodge is we're all in the backyard with our shoes off, walking barefoot in the, yes. Oof. I know you.
I'd have to be in a real...
But
exactly,
real, like grounding is real. Like we need that connection with the earth, and not on sidewalk and not on pavement and not just at the beach. Like,
yeah, I think maybe for me, it would have to be like a pre-planned bag of potting soil that I know doesn't have any fire ants in it. And then I'll ground there. How about that? Like, don't get me wrong. Like I remember when I was little, I remember the feel of grass. I remember the feel of dirt. Like I don't hate dirt. I like dirt better than I like sand. That's 1,000% sure. And when I was little, put my foot into an ant pile and wanted to die. And I don't think I've processed that yet. So I'm always a little bit leery, And
I've been bitten by fire ants too. Fortunately, I've never found fire ants in my backyard, so I think we're safe back there. But I don't know that there's fire ants in where you are in North Carolina, but I invite you to just try it. All those leaves that are falling down, like go put your feet on those leaves. I want to see a video too, like because I'm guessing that your kids have never experienced this, but like you need to rake up all those leaves into a big pile and jump in them or run through them. Like,
yeah, I did that when I was little. Yeah, I did that when I was little. My kids haven't done that. Good morning, Tracy Samples. Oh, another body genius amongst us. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this morning when I had to take my son to that basketball practice, it was pitch black outside and literally could only see the 5 feet in front of me. And I thought to myself, damn, I live in the woods now. I really should be careful with like whatever creatures might be lurking at this hour. And then I'm like, I don't even know what creatures lurk. Who lurks? I don't know. I don't think yes, there are black bears in this area, but they tend to be more in the, obviously less populated area. There's a ton of deer. And I'm always like my daughter has a video of me because you can pull right up to them and they're just like staring at you. I'm like, no wonder you keep getting shot, like run away from the people. But anyway, so they just sit there. And so I'm like Mary Poppins. I'm like, good morning, dear. It is a whole new level of ridiculous, but yeah. So I don't think anything's trying to kill me so far. There are some squirrels that coincidentally drop a lot of acorns while I'm in the area. It's a little suspicious, but
you think they're throwing them at you?
Some of them, it's actually kind of funny because, I will get up and go see what they actually dropped. And a lot of times it's an acorn that's been chewed on. Like they open it, they got the inside, they've been chewing on it, but then all of a sudden, like 7 pieces fall only on me. I'm just saying, it's a coincidence.
Start talking with them, develop a relationship with them.
I have been trying, girl. My neighbors are going to call somebody like at this point,
I love it. I love it. So we have just a few minutes left, but I do want to remind everybody that we have this really cool thing happening this weekend. Saturday morning, we are doing a vision board masterclass. And, health goals can be one of those things that you put on your vision board, but Graciela and I are going to not only give you the opportunity to create a stunningly beautiful vision board, but, when you make a vision board, it's not just about putting these pictures down and like waiting for them to magically occur. We're going to give you all our secret tools to like how Graciela manifested a new home up in the mountains in North Carolina, and all the fun stuff that we've manifested. And so it's going to be a really good time, and it's virtual, so it doesn't matter where you live, you can join us and experience this. And this is kind of our first dive into the virtual world, since she left.
I know. I'm so sorry.
And I will say all the things that I've been doing, people, because I do know people all over this country, all over this planet, and people have been asking, when is virtual stuff going to happen? So I would always say it's in the works, it's going to happen. And now it actually is happening. So those of you listening out there that don't live in Fort Lauderdale or Southeast Florida, like this is your opportunity to join us and participate in all the fun that we have over here at Body and Soul Ministries. So
yeah, I'm excited. One of the things, I'll just tell you guys a real quick story about, I have been plotting out where I wanted to live and what I wanted my house to look like for years and years and years. And so every time I would get a visual of it, just in my mind, I would draw it out on a piece of paper. And I actually have all the papers that I can share another time, but I would always draw a house at the top of a hill that would slope down. And then at the bottom, I always saw a pond. And this is literally like, I spent 2 years doing this, and we traveled everywhere. I never even saw a pond. But as you might imagine, with how I feel with dirt, I don't like ponds. Okay. I'm Cuban. Cuban people do not get into water that we cannot see through. So a dark green body of water with a non-visual bottom is absolutely, it might as well lead to the center of the earth. I'm not going in it. So why in my vision is there a pond? Like, I don't care about ponds. I don't want to go fishing in a pond. I don't want to do any of that, But anyway, that was the vision. So I would draw it out and whatnot. And so when we came up here, and there's more to the story, but long story short, we ended up selecting this house, and we were like, okay, this is it. We got back on our plane. We're headed home, and then we're kind of just ruminating. And my kids tell me, hey, Mom, did you notice the pond at the bottom? And I was like, what? And sure enough, just down at the bottom of the hill, right over this little road, there's a pond behind some trees that I hadn't seen before. And I thought, man, isn't that incredible? Like, I literally thought about what do I want it to look like. It created a vision even greater than I could, or would have intentionally created, right? And then taking all of the steps in between, here I am, I'm sitting, in this house, and I'm looking at the pond, and I say house, but it's not about house. It's about life, right? It's about the lifestyle and, just everything that goes along with moving your life somewhere else, So I am really excited about sharing more stories like that, because that's just one of them. I was redoing my own vision board the other day, and I had to take like 10 things off from my old one so that I could create the new one, because I was like, oh yeah, I did do that. I did do that. I did do that, you know, and that's really exciting. So it's going to be a nice combination of, you know, the woo-woo stuff that we love so much. For real, Raylan, that just gave me chills. She says, the pond. I wait till you see it. Like, put my house on your bucket list, because you're not going to believe it. But it's going to be, you know, all the spiritual stuff that we love. It's going to be a lot of flat out neuroscience, you know, how the brain works. And, you know, it's going to be a nice little bit of ceremony too. So that's why it's not just a vision board workshop. It's not like everyone knows, okay, write down what you want. Okay, but it's so much more than that. And yeah, no gatekeeping here. Like, come get all the secrets, because man, all I want to see is like the best for everybody. How exciting would it be if 6 months from now or a year from now we meet up again and we say, look at my vision board is empty. I've done everything. Like, how exciting is that? So anyway, I can't wait to see everybody. I'm excited. It'll be fun.
All right. Is the show a wrap?
The show is a wrap. One day
right.
we'll do an 8-hour show.
Wishing everybody a magical day out there. Hope to see you Saturday morning.
Thank you for listening, guys.